Welcome back to What Arty Noobs with General Disturbance. This is the M44, the Tier 6 American SPG. This one's located on the south spawn of Halluf, and it's under the command of 15JG52Brauer. And this is his first battle, or first major battle I should say, after the changes in 1.13. So he's testing it out just to see, has he still got what he needs to do the game, to play the game. Well, as you can see, Captain America on the side of the vehicle and 2 marks of excellence on the barrel, yes. And he achieved those before the recent MOE adjustments that have been going on. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if he's got 3 marks on that barrel now. Now, the M44 has been altered quite substantially. It was one of the only Artys, that was actually completely altered by Wargaming, because they didn't just nerf it with the shells and the damage, they nerfed other factors as well, so the reload time has altered. Now, in order for me to get a proper view, I have to press the G button, otherwise the view changes and you get too close to the enemy. I don't think he can get a shot of that Shid M4257, but the position he's taking up at the moment is actually to shoot to the north. If you wanted to hit the Shid M4257, you would have to go a long way to the west and closer to the northeast corner. Okay, next target, the AMX, well, it was the first target actually, the AMX M449 Liberté. Tier 8 French Premium Heavy. He can shoot through that gap, but I don't think he can get him if he's close to the wall. And it looks to me like at the moment he's trying to shoot at enemy tanks that are just being spotted by our Hellcat as they pass through the pass from their spawn point. In fact, the Hellcat's actually spotted somebody in a position near their camp area, looking out over the valley, and he's doing that in-out thing again. I will have to take control of the camera if he keeps doing that, because it's instinctive for him to do it, but unfortunately it really annoys a lot of players or a lot of people viewing the screen. So yeah, I will take control of the camera, because otherwise people wouldn't be able to watch this video. They would be getting seasick. Even Jingles stops any video going out where people start doing that, because it's pointless trying to record it. It's actually quite disconcerting for some people. 40 TP, rounds out. And he moves virtually straight away after he fires. He hasn't been counter-batteried yet, so he's just taking precautions to ensure he's doing it again. He's taking precautions to ensure that he isn't counter-batteried. One of the things that a lot of players have noticed is the tracer is very visible. Okay, so he can shoot the Liberté now. He's made the mistake of going off into that corner. And he got a near miss for 23 hit points. Well, after all the shots he's fired so far, and he's actually firing heat rounds now, not the armor-piercing rounds, instead of the standard. Well, he did actually hit the AMX M449 with an armor-piercing, and it went through for 391. And he's carrying on using the armor-piercing to try and get shots on the enemy. Okay, there is the M4, fires around in, and he's killed it this time. 279 hit points off that shot. So is that more damage than he would get from the standard M44 that we saw before? Well, yes and no, because a standard M44 before with a non-penetrating shot would have done at least 250, and he's getting exactly the same, except for one shell on the Liberté. Fires around at the Hellcat and misses, and that does no damage at all. That was a heat round. He seems to be trying to use a lot of heat. He's lost sight of that target. He's using a lot of heat to see if he can actually get damage by penetrating the enemy tanks. A Hellcat you can penetrate with standard HE because it's got enough penetration, so it's a bit of a waste to fire a heat round at it. Overkill. Okay. Didn't hit that one at all. And yes, he is being counter-batteried. The enemy Arty is now trying to hit him, so he obviously knows where, or the vicinity of this Arty, but doesn't know precisely where he is because obviously he missed. Go for another one. That's out. And he did hit the Hellcat and penetrated him for 443. But if he penetrated that with the Hellcat with the HE round, he would have wiped it out altogether with just one shot. So is that a gain? No, it's a loss overall. Fires some round in at the Comet. He switched to the standard HE now. Okay, bunch of enemy tanks there. That would be worth using the special HE. Well, he did get 56 hit points on the KB2 from Splash. And because he destroyed the track, he's picking up damage assist. Now, it's been my experience that standard HE is working, provided you are accurate, you get good shots and you get lots of stun on the enemy and let your teammates then benefit from that stun. Okay, so he did get a near miss on the TS5. I'm sorry I'm not showing where the shells are actually landing, but he's coming out of aim view straight away. Okay, I'll stay in aim view for this shot, see where it went. Oh, no, he comes out anyway automatically. He's watching that E25, who is relatively close actually. In fact, the enemy is getting closer to them because the Progetto's managed to come across the valley and he's now in our rear. Gets 176 hit points. Now, one of the things we have noticed is that it's now virtually impossible to shotgun an enemy tank and take them out of the game, even a light tank. So I'll be very surprised if there are any cold-blooded medals for shotgunning two enemy light tanks in a battle, or two enemy tanks in a battle at less than 100 meters, simply because it's well, it's impossible to wipe them out. You just don't get enough alpha to do it. Okay, he's doing the in-out thing again. Very frustrating. Well, the T25-2 appears to be there now. The team's done very well because they're now 3 tanks up on the enemy. There's only 4 enemy vehicles left. They've got a tank destroyer, a heavy tank, and 2 Arty. Well, we know the tank destroyer was seen over this side. The heavy tank, the VK3001P, appears to be sitting near their cap. Which tends to make me think that he really is an inexperienced player and therefore he didn't take part in the battle really because he didn't know how to, in which case he should be fairly easy to overcome. 15JG52Brauer has decided, was it 52Brauer, sorry, has decided he needs to get closer to the enemy. He might be able to get a better shot at that VK if he's much up in, goes up to the northwest corner, but he also might be going up in this direction because he needs to get round to the other side of the battlefield. Okay, well, he is aiming for that VK. Supposing that he is there, of course, he might have moved, but there's a very good chance that he has moved from that position, and he's even doing the in-out on the mouse. Oh dear. I'm going to take control of the mouse. Okay, he's looking elsewhere. Ah, he's found the VK, and the VK went up near the Arty, and I'm pretty sure the Arty is up there. So he's now going to take the shots, and then he does the in-out thing again. Stop doing the in-out thing. It's really upsetting to the viewers. If you keep doing it, you'll stop. You won't get any more replays simply because we won't be able to do anything about it. We won't be able to correct it by coming out of aim view. And so we'll just have to say no more videos for 15JG52Brauer. I know people have got their habits about how they play the game, but if you do these things, all you do is you upset people. And we just can't produce videos like this simply because people can't watch them. Well, there are the two Artys as well. He goes for the Hummel first. Missed it on that shot. He's actually using. This is the high efficiency. It's the high efficiency HE, but unfortunately, all of the enemy tanks have been wiped out by our teammates whilst we were faffing about. Okay, let's have a look at the end of battle results. Here's the end of battle results, and it was a second-class tanker for 15JG52Brauer in the M44. He also managed to get a bruiser medal for getting at least 5 critical hits. In fact, he managed to get 13. And he got a Confederate medal for hitting more of the enemy than anyone else on his team. His win rate from the battle was 3,340, which is more like the normal scores that he would get in this Arty. Let's have a look at the team score. Well, we can see that he didn't get the highest damage in this game. No, that went to the Fox, the CS52 Liss, who managed 4,800 hit points to get the high caliber. The next high scorer was the IS-2 Shielded on the enemy team with 2,631, followed by the Budgie, who managed to get 2,150 hit points from that game. The Kryslowski managed to get a Spartan and Steel Wall, and of course he managed to get the Confederate in 4th place on his own team and 5th place overall on damage with 1,849 hit points. When it came to kills, it was the Kryslowski who did the best with 4 kills. Then we got the Liss with 3, 2 kills for the Budgie, the Cromwell, the IS-2, and also the Progetto on the enemy team. Unfortunately, 15JG52Brauer only managed to get the 1 kill, but on the other hand, he actually guaranteed he got the Confederate because he hit so many enemy tanks. Even if he had actually taken out more than 1 tank, I think he would have been. Let's have a look. No, he still would have got the Confederate, but he just would have had an extra 1 against his name. When it came to base XP, it's the Fox again, who's got 1,359, 1,044 to the KV4, and 1,018 to the Budgie, and then he's next with 875 in 4th place overall, because none of the enemy team managed to get that high. Let's have a look at detail. He fired 20 shots in that game, 4 direct hits, 3 penetrations, because he did use some heat rounds, 11 splash. Damage of 1,849 hit points, all of it at more than 300 meters. He damaged 9 of the enemy, killed 1, and 252 hit points of damage assistance, plus 550 hit points of stun assist off 11 stuns. On a premium count, he earned 40,532 credits, but after ammunition, resupply, and consumables, he only took away a profit of 9,882 credits. I think this tells us that the premium rounds are quite a bit more expensive overall, and you don't always get the effect that you'd always expect with them. In fact, I think you saw that there was quite a few that he fired which hit the ground and they missed the targets, either the Liberté or they missed the Hellcat, and as a consequence he got absolutely nothing for that round, whereas if he'd fired an HE round, more than likely he would have splashed the enemy, or at least he would have stunned them, and the stunning might have made a difference. Anyway, on this battle, he only made a small profit. A lot of regular Arty players, even like myself, are actually showing that we are capable of getting a fairly decent profit, actually, funnily enough, even when we're only using standard HE. But the tests are continuing with Angelina and Talon. Angelina 75 and Talon 58 are both playing the game using different combinations of ammunition to see which one is the best at actually generating profit. And they find that they do get decent profit from standard HE and the enhanced HE, but not with the AP. So the AP rounds are completely useless, which is what we expected actually, because obviously they were rejected the first time round that Wargaming tried to introduce them, because they had absolutely no effect upon the enemy. And despite the fact that 15JG52Brauer did actually get a couple of pens with the premium ammo, the fact of the matter is you do have to get a direct hit for all of them to work. And experience has shown even on the Fifi playing the 105 FH18B2 that you don't get that many direct hits on the enemy to make them work. And it's also the reason why people like community contributors like Des Games were quite happy to let Arty players and encourage Arty players to fire the armor-piercing rounds, simply because they knew that they wouldn't get hit. And therefore, there will be no pressure from the Arty, there'll be no stun, no hits, and they encouraged Arty players to use as many premium rounds, armor-piercing rounds, as they could, because obviously they knew that Arty would effectively be out of the game. They wouldn't really be generating anything. He got 1,312 XP, 7,878 for the mission, and 9,190 experience points altogether. So I think I've said it really all already. The thing is that the new rounds are, well, it depends on how you play as to which ones are effective. Most players who like using the stun and are willing to accept the reduced damage are still generating significant amounts of damage to make the profit and also XP to continue in the game. Whereas those who actually use the enhanced rounds can actually get damage on the enemy if they bunch together, if they group together at, say, a choke point, and therefore those rounds are worthwhile. However, the armor-piercing rounds do not appear to work for anyone, unless, of course, they are very accurate players. And it's one of the reasons why whenever you see a Fifi player, they don't carry that many armor-piercing rounds, and if they do, they don't make a profit. So there you go. The lesson is, don't use the armor-piercing rounds unless you're very good, and best that you carry lots of standard HE and a few of the premium HE rounds just for when the enemy bunches up. I hope you enjoyed that replay. If you did, please give this video a like. Do subscribe to our channel. Leave a little comment down below because it feeds the algorithm. And thank you for watching.